This is live on Facebook. And tonight we're hosting the Rider Elite team is hosting our chef night. And tonight we have Chef Jude Walker. And this guy, I mean to tell you, we were talking earlier, and this guy was born and raised in Mesa, Arizona, so he's a local. And he began his career in 2004 after he graduated from Evan. And since then, for the last 10 years, this guy's been the banquet and the senior services director for the last 10 years and set up food trucks, consulted with the two fat guys that do the grilled cheese sandwiches that are amazing, and also helped start not only Pasta to Go, but the Veranda Grill out in Agritopia. That's farm to grill to table. So I'm telling you guys, we have the best chef available tonight that's going to teach us how to make chicken marsala and a pumpkin tart. Isn't that right, Chef?
That is right, Rider Elite team.
You can call me Steve. You can call her Beth.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Facebook world. Are you guys ready to get started?
We are.
I think you are. Okay, so first of all, we have our special aprons on. So in case you forget what team we represent, you can always go to the ridereliteteam.com. Okay, Chef, let's get started.
Let's get started, shall we? So tonight we're going to work in a little bit of a sequence. We're going to start with dessert, not eat it, but make it first because it's going to have some set time. So what we're going to need is we're going to need our heavy cream.
I didn't know how he was doing this, so I made mine already.
We're going to need our mixing bowl. We'll need a rubber spatula, not now, but soon. We need our hand beater.
Oh, yeah, baby.
It's on, it's on. So what we're going to do, we're going to take 2 cups of our heavy cream. My measuring cup. 1, 2, there we go.
Wow, that's an Italian trick. I've seen my mother-in-law use that one.
We're gonna start mixing here. We need to take our pudding pad. Out of the pot. This is multitasking because this will take a little bit of time here. We're gonna turn it up a little bit. What we want to do is we want to get that cream going. Basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making a pumpkin mousse, and we're going to be putting it inside of a tart shell or a pie shell, letting that set up for a nice delicious dessert to end our meal. Ooh, pumpkin.
Pumpkin fresh from the farm.
So we're going to add half our pudding mix. What our pudding mix does is it acts as a binding agent for our whipped cream. What it does is it helps speed the process of the whipped cream, but then it also holds it so it'll stay nice and firm. Like you see when you get a chocolate cream pie, a banana cream pie, coconut cream pie. In this instance, it's going to be a pumpkin cream pie. Tart, if that's what you're working with. So as you can see here, we're starting to get, we're getting there, we're working a little bit. And what we're looking for is we're looking for a soft peak. What that means is there will be a slight stiffness to our heavy cream, which is almost the whipped cream consistency, but not quite there yet. We've gone to ludicrous speed. So see how we're almost getting there. It's starting to whip and hold into shape a little bit. So we're almost to that peak stage. All right, now it's starting to get a little bit thicker here. All right, now we're gonna want to slow it down. There we go. We have a nice peak, light peak. So it's not quite fully whipped yet. A little bit longer. There we go. Add that. There we go. Nice thickness to it here. Perfect. Then we're going to be adding our other ingredients. We're going to add some pumpkin puree. We're going to whip this up a little bit. Mainly just folding it in. We don't want to over whip it because we don't want our cream to break. We don't want it to reduce. If you over whip it, then it'll just turn back into liquid and then we got to start all over. And we don't have that time tonight. So you just kind of want to fold it in nicely. We're going to take some brown sugar, sweeten it up a bit. Then if you have pumpkin pie spice, you can add that. I'm basically going to add all of that except for the clove. I'm going to add a little cinnamon. I'm going to add a touch of ginger. And the same for the nutmeg. I want to just incorporate all this nicely.
So right now you're whipping it on medium?
Medium speed, yes. We don't want to get too far, so because we want it to still maintain a nice, what's that, Dairy Queen?
Exactly.
Right, the Blizzard.
Amazing.
We want it to be like that. Okay, and then if you got your tart shells, you're gonna break out your tart shells. We have two choices today. We have our graham cracker shell, or in my case, I have a pecan crust because I figured what goes better with pumpkin than pecan.
Pecan! Let's do
Absolutely.
it.
We got it.
Are we allowed to take our fingers and go for a dip yet?
You know what? You tell me, sir. Are we there yet?
All right.
Do we need to add a little sugar?
Oh.
Sweet enough?
He's good. I mean, maybe a touch, but
We can add it. We can sweeten it up a bit. Let's go ahead and do it.
oh, I like that. Chef Jude.
Gonna just add another little tablespoon there.
Are you taking directions? This looks good.
I am taking directions. When do the asparagus go in there next?
Almost. Not into there. All right. Then get our spatula.
If my son Alexander was here, he'd be asking, could you want me to go ahead and clean off those
Yeah.
little egg beaters?
Well, I saved the bowl for him. So
Perfect.
once we have our pumpkin mousse, put it in our tart here. Do a nice little smooth around.
Really, that looks pretty easy. You
Pretty
you
simple.
can really make this for dessert just so quickly.
And then what you're going to want to do is we're going to want to let it set. So we're going to look in the refrigerator for a couple hours, probably 2 to 4 hours maybe. What we're looking is just to get that firmness so that way we can get a nice even cut to it when we go to cut it.
So if they're watching tonight and they want to have this after dinner, would they
If you would like to have this after dinner when we're done, let me show you what you do. You take your freezer door and you open it like this, and you slide it right on in. And by the time we're ready to go for dessert, so will your tart.
Oh, that's great. Speeds up the process.
Speeds up the process. Very
Love
good.
it.
All right. Next, we will be moving right along to
You mean we're going to start the tart already?
already.
Okay, I like that. Put it in the freezer.
Okay. Next, what we want to do is we want to start working our rice. We're going to want to take our long grain rice. And instead of following the directions of rice-a-roni. We're going to jazz it up a little bit. So you can take any long grain rice. This is for the safety's sake of time. It all cooks about the same anyway, 20-minute rice. Uncle Ben's in a minute, but it takes longer than that if you read the directions. So we'll take our long grain rice, add it to our pot. We're going to take some chicken stock. We're going to add just about 2 cups. We're going to take our seasoning packet, and we're only going to add half of this packet because it's high in sodium, so watch your cholesterol, everybody. We're going to get this on our stove. We want to start it off at a nice high heat.
Give you a little light over here as well.
There we go. Once that comes to a boil, we want to just give it a little stir. We're going to add some butter to this. Roughly about 1½ tablespoons. Now, while that's going, what we're going to do is we're going to be getting our asparagus ready so we can pop that into the oven. All right, once we have our asparagus ready, does everyone know the trick with this? You know the trick with this one?
No, what's the trick?
Trick was with this one, boom, it's done. See how that works like that?
I love it. That's
All you do is you take one, snap it. That's how you know where it's ready to go. Now here's the other culinary trick. Leave it in a bunch like that. Done. See how that works?
Wow, that's
Simple.
so simple. I think I could do it.
But you want to make sure that you do get that fibrous end off because it will be hard to chew, and you'll be wondering why your asparagus is not quite done yet. So we'll get our asparagus on our cookie sheet. We want to put our foil on it for easy cleanup. You like easy cleanup?
Easy cleanup.
I love easy cleanup.
Love it.
It works for me if it works for you.
Dump them there.
Yeah, I'll start.
Yep. Oh, that looks great. Easy. So quick.
So quick and easy. Okay, so here we're going to take our little butter pads. I'm going to lay these out some so they'll cook evenly. I want to make sure that it is able to sit down in the butter some so that way it'll get a nice little crispness to it as we're roasting it in the oven.
I love how you turn them upside down like that. I would have tried to just
stagger them together.
Yes, exactly. That wasn't going to work. So great idea.
Long time ago, my mom bought me some Lincoln Logs, and this is kind of the same process.
I love it.
There we go. So
I'm telling you, he is teaching my wife some really good tips. And for all you guys out there that don't cook, just pay attention. These are some great tips. Look at this.
Gonna put some butter pads right out like such so that way it'll all kind of melt evenly, and then that way it'll have a nice even layer of butter. What that does is kind of fries it when it's in the oven without actually deep fat frying it. So it'll have a nice crispy crunch like it was fried, but it'll have a roasted flavor.
Wonderful.
So we'll take
both worlds.
That's right, little lemon pepper. Got just a tiny bit of salt in there as well. You don't want to be too shy on this, but you don't want to be too crazy on it. You know what? I like butter. You like butter?
I like butter. I love butter.
Let's go
Let's
ahead.
go.
The more pads, the better.
All right. So we got our oven already preheated at 375. Over here, we got our rice coming to a boil. We're going to want to turn this down to a low simmer. A low simmer is rolling boil. Low simmer. Rolling boil, low simmer. So we want to turn this down. So we don't want to continue to boil all that liquid out. There we go. Pop our asparagus in the oven. Asparagus is going to take as thick as this is right here, about finger width. Take probably about 15, maybe 20 minutes, same amount of time with our rice.
We did preheat our oven, so turn that oven on if you need to turn that oven on.
Lid, this side?
Lid, yes.
This side.
There you go.
There we go. Pop a lid on this guy. Let it do its thing on a nice low simmer. moving right along, we're going to start making our prep for our marsala stuff. What we need for that is we need some minced garlic, if you don't already have some, chopped up. We're going to need some shallot. We're going to chop this up as well. I want to cut this as small as we can, just so you don't have to get such a big chunk of it. You don't want shallot stuck in your teeth for tomorrow, do you?
No,
No.
thank you.
No, we definitely want to cut this down as small as we can. And shallots will cook down very, very well. So essentially by the end of the sauce, you won't even really know you're there. But we got great flavor with the shallot. We're just going to mix that with our garlic. What's that? Oh, I hear my rice calling me. Woo! Low simmer. There we go. From here,
Rice.
we need to get our mushroom.
Make sure you turn me down.
Hello.
This guy is good.
Get our mushrooms here. Nice washed off, rinsed mushrooms. I use cremini. You can use button if you'd like, but I use a cremini because it has a better flavor to it. You just get a nice slice going. Cut them as big and chunky as you want, or nice and thin like such. There we go.
You made that look so easy.
Lost a couple fingertips in the process, but we've learned over the time. Okay, so the reason we're getting our onions and our shallots and our mushrooms and our asparagus ready. See? Victim of it. Reason we got all that is because we don't want to contaminate our workstation by using raw chicken. So by using raw chicken, we want to make sure that we cut all of our vegetables and stuff first, so we're not having to wash the cutting board and reuse it and wash it and reuse it, right?
Great point.
Good. So we've got our mise en place, which means everything in its place. We have our garlic and our shallots. We have our mushrooms. We have our chicken stock. Now we're ready for the chicken.
Well, everything in our kitchen is smelling amazing. Looks great so far.
All right. With our chicken, what we're going to do is we're going to butterfly it straight down the middle like such. First, we want to clean off this nonsense. Some people like that. I preferably don't like to chew on it and chew on it. So we'll just take this little bit of fat and this cartilage right out of here like such. Boom, done. Trim off any excess fat that you're not wanting to have. And then you can take the chicken breast. If you do it like this, be very careful. Ow! And just work your way down like that. That way you have two even pieces like
that's
such.
Amazing. Looks great.
Now that we have that, we're ready to start cooking.
Fantastic.
Prep is done in just minutes.
I love it.
See that? Always want to wash your hands. Important fact. After using raw chicken, raw meat, you do not want to cross-contaminate, potentially get anybody sick. So what we're going to do from here is we're going to take our saucepan. We're going to want to heat it up. All right. Over to the stove. Saucepan, like such. I'm going to use a bigger one so that way we can fit more chickens in it at one time. Here we're going to want to have a nice hot pan. We're going to need a plate for when we're done with our chicken. We're going to need our olive oil for our chicken. We're going to need our flour dredge pan for our chicken.
So to prepare that dredge pan, you just took a
Just took a baking pan. Yeah, you could use a plate like such.
Okay.
Pretty much is, I like to do it as least amount of mess as possible.
Perfect.
If you know when you work with flour, a little bit goes a long way, and you wonder why flour's all the way over
So I like the baking pan with the sides. Definitely keeps it neat and tidy.
Yep. Very simple, really. Once we get that going, we're going to add a little bit of our olive oil. Now, an important thing to remember here is we don't want it to get too hot. If our oil is starting to smoke up, we want to pull it off. We don't want to drop our chicken in there and burn it right away.
Perfect.
So we want to make sure that it's hot. And how we know that it'll be ready is our olive oil will start to ripple a little bit. So it'll just start to kind of separate on its own. And that's really what we're looking for.
Looking for the ripple.
Do the ripple dance.
Looking for the ripple.
There we go.
Come on, baby.
So all I have here is just some flour, a little bit of salt and pepper, nothing too crazy. You can season this however you like. If you want to get crazy and heavy with it, go right ahead.
What are some other options if you did want to season it a little bit different?
You could do like a little bit of oregano in there,
Okay.
basil. Basil will give it a different flavor to it. You can add some tarragon to it. Tarragon goes excellent with mushrooms. So another thing that you can put together that won't make it a marsala, but it'll be exactly the same, but totally different.
Ah, the same but different.
Exactly.
You want to spice it up a little.
You do. So once our pan is getting nice and hot here, I'm going to take our chicken and just dredge it into the flour. That's how we know the sizzle. Ooh. Yeah, we should be okay there. There we go. So that's going to do its thing. There we go. Now we're getting the sizzle going. I want to get some of this oil over here on the other side of the pan. Add a little bit of oil if you need to. Not too bad. Basically what we're doing here is we're just going to sear it. So we're going to just brown the outside of the chicken, so to speak.
Got it.
And that's what we're looking for, is just a nice little golden brown. We don't want to cook it all the way through. We just want to brown it up. Get our other chickens breaded here. Another thing this works good is get to do more than just one at a time.
Right.
That's another bonus. That way we're not.
Honestly, we probably would have used a plate, and that would have been wrong. So I really appreciate the tip.
Mm-hmm. Working on my ambidextrous here. Okay, so see how we're not quite golden brown yet?
Yep.
That's okay. We want to wait though. We just want to give it another second. This process will take, 3, maybe 4 minutes, depending on how hot your pan is, really.
Well, our kitchen is smelling amazing. How are you guys doing there? Does anyone have any questions? Jennifer is manning the chat room, so if you guys have any questions, type them in. And if you have any questions for the chef, please feel free to type in a question, and he'd be happy to give you an answer.
Give our rice a little stir there, never hurts. That way it doesn't get stuck on you. There we go. See how we're getting a nice little golden brown there?
Hey, Chef,
Yes.
we have our first question.
What's our question?
Carol wants to know if you're single.
Sorry, taken.
Carol, I'm sorry he's taken, but he can teach anyone. If you want to go to classes, you got like 3 or 4 guys that you want to do some speed dating classes, we'll take care of you.
I will add that to my resume, actually. I will.
We'd like to hear from everybody too. If you're really interested and you like this, we'd love to hear recommendations for what types of dishes we can prepare next. So we'd love everybody to put some comments in the chat room. If there's something you want to learn how to make, we'll add it to our list for our next program.
And the reason we chose chicken marsala tonight is it's one of those ones that people get intimidated on making.
Oh,
They think that I can't do that because
absolutely.
it's something that only Corrales can make. Well, guess what? We're making it with the Rider Elite team tonight.
Awesome. We're so excited to do it here.
Absolutely. So all we're looking for, nice little golden brown on each side. Roughly about 3 minutes. We're going to set these aside.
Those look amazing.
Mm-hmm. We're going to add a little more oil here just so we can get our other ones going. And this time it'll be a little bit faster because our pan's nice and hot.
I had another comment. Someone asked if you know how to do bananas pasta.
Oh, bananas. One of my favorites, as a matter of fact.
No way.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Bananas Foster.
One
Just keep putting in the chat room whatever you want. We'll see if he can make it.
We'll add it to our list.
We'll add it to the list. I like it.
We have Thanksgiving coming up. We have Christmas, the holidays. We might even learn how to make coffee Diablo. Flaming coffee Diablo. Can you do that, Chef?
I've done it before.
If he's done it before, he can do it again.
All right, let's take a look at our asparagus. Oh, our asparagus is working nicely. Don't try this at home. Ooh, we're almost there. We want to get a nice tenderness to this thick part here. But our tips, see how our tips are getting that nice little crisp to it?
Amazing.
All right, that's going to go back in.
Lovely.
Flip our chicken here. All right, we're working. Check our rice, give it a little stir.
I really love that you can use a box rice, jazz it up, and make it so much better.
Yeah, one thing I like to add with wild rice is craisins. Just throw a little bit of craisins in there.
That's a great idea. When would you put those in if you were going to add them?
Almost. So see how our liquid's starting to kind of reduce out?
Yeah.
So right now, so that way we can really bring out the craisin, the cranberry flavor.
Great idea.
And that way it'll soften them up as well. So we don't want them to throw it at the end. It'll just be a craisin in there.
Got it.
But if we put them in right now, then that way we'll be able to we'll capture that cranberry flavor, that sweetness, that little bit of tartness,
I love
without ruining the flavor of the rice.
And it's a great ad for the holiday.
Absolutely. With Thanksgiving coming right up.
Love that. Great idea.
Yeah, currants, dates, any type of thing like that. All depends on what your proteins are, so you can just kind of match the combinations accordingly.
Chat box, they said again, a craisin? Is that a combination of a crazy raisin?
It is a crazy raisin, but not from California.
Okay. So not one of those big purple guys that goes around?
Right.
So is it a cranberry raisin combo?
It would be a dried cranberry. So it's the cranberry dried like a grape. Instead of it making it a raisin, make it a craisin.
It's raisin.
All right, we're looking pretty good here on this chicken. I like the way this is looking here. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pop these out. We're going to save these for later. You know, that's one thing I like to do when I'm cooking is same pot cooking.
I love it.
It's really beneficial in the kitchen and doing dishes. So with our roux that's in here, it's going to be okay. See how it's kind of brown? It's not going to harm anything. But if it's black, we got to wipe that out and toss it out.
Okay, so someone overcooked the chicken a little bit. They really need to wipe it out now.
If their oil was too hot and started to burn it, and you'll smell the burntness too.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so we're
Good tip. So if you got it a little too hot, wipe it out before you serve
it's okay. And our roux that's in the roux is going to be fat and flour. 50% fat, which was our olive oil today.
Got it.
And flour. Typically, you would use butter. I love using bacon fat because it tastes delicious. So here we're going to add our mushrooms. The reason we want to add our mushrooms first is because we don't want to add our garlic and our shallots just yet because we don't want to burn that. The rule of thumb when cooking with garlic is if you burn it, throw it out because you'll never get rid of that bitterness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Mm-hmm.
And are we cooking on medium heat right now?
Right now we're gonna saute.
Okay.
So saute means high heat, little bit of fat. In today's fat, we're using olive oil,
Got it.
not Popeye's oil.
Okay.
So then we're gonna use that. Nice saute. See how we got high heat,
Wonderful.
a little bit of fat. Now when you add mushrooms, you don't want to over add the oil. You want to put enough in there so it kind of lightly coats them and cooks down. Reason being is once your mushrooms start to cook, they're going to start releasing the water that's in there.
Okay.
And then you'll start to see the water content that's in here.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Whoa. Mushroom down. Let's take a look at our rice here. Oh, our rice is getting there. It is getting there. You know what we're going to do? We're going to need to add a little bit more liquid to that. Take our handy dandy chicken stock. And never be afraid. When cooking rice, it's always better to be able to add more liquid to it because you can't ever take it away. So that's a struggle. You don't want to do that. Rice is one of the hardest things to cook in the kitchen. It's just getting it right. That's the key.
Yep, absolutely.
Now, see how our mushrooms starting to cook down a little bit?
They smell great.
Starting to caramelize.
Everybody, how are your mushrooms cooking at home? Let us know. Talk to us in the chat box.
We're going to add our garlic and our shallots.
We had someone that said, my mushrooms are cooking a little fast. Should I turn down the heat?
Turn down the heat. Don't be afraid to turn the heat down.
Turn the heat down.
If you haven't added your garlic and shallots yet, add it now.
Now is the time for the garlic and the shallot.
Ooh, now we're getting some aroma.
Oh, that smells amazing.
Now we're getting some aroma. All right, before we start our next step, let's take a peek at our asparagus. Oh my goodness.
Oh, that looks amazing.
We're almost there. This is about 3 to 4 more minutes out, which is right on schedule with what we're doing. All right. Now that our garlic and our shallots are cooking down nicely, we added them in so we don't burn them.
Right, right.
Our mushrooms are nice and caramelized.
Looks amazing.
Our next step, we're going to deglaze the pan.
Deglaze?
That's right, deglaze the pan. How you do that is you use any kind of acid, whether it's juice. They say liquid, but acid really strips the fond, which is all that caramelization in the bottom of our pan there. In this case, Marsala wine.
Marsala
This is the
wine.
key to Marsala chicken. I'm going to add this to it.
And this is going to strip
all the sugars that have now cooked out of the mushrooms and the garlic and the shallots. It's going to strip that off the bottom of the pot.
So how much did you pour in? So if people are at home and they're wondering, how much do I pour in?
Poured in too much.
You don't want to go too much. For the recipe that I put down is about right. I wanted to say a half a cup.
About a half a cup?
A cup. So we'll be all right. We'll do a cup.
Okay, a little more. Now, Chef, we have a chicken cordon bleu request.
Ooh.
Do you know how to do that, my friend?
That I do. We can go several spins on that if you'd like.
All right. So just so you know, guys, keep putting in those requests. Chicken cordon bleu is coming to you.
Take a look at our rice here.
Oh, so good.
Are we there yet? Looking by, slightly a little longer.
Al dente.
Al dente? Cut it or let it go a little longer. What do you think? A little
Just
bit longer?
a scoot, Chef.
You got it.
Just a scoot.
You got it. We'll let it ride just a little bit longer. All right, now that we've stripped off all that fond, all those sugars in the bottom of the pan, see how most of that liquid kind of left the pan, right?
Absolutely.
So keeping it on that higher heat's going to allow it to reduce down. Now what we're gonna want to do is we're gonna add our chicken stock. Right here. We're gonna reduce this down some.
I don't know about you guys at home, but our kitchen smells amazing.
All right. So this is going to cook down nicely. Our heavy cream is going to be what we add next. An important factor with this is we don't want to add our heavy cream to a boiling liquid. The reason being is we can separate, we can break this heavy cream.
Oh, good point.
So what we'd want to do is we'd want to turn it down, and then we would slowly add it. We would temper the cream. So we would cool it down by adding a little bit, and then adding a little bit, and then adding a little bit. And then we can add the rest of it to it so that way it'll cool it down. And then we'll kind of slowly bring it back up to a boil. So what we're doing is we're just reducing our liquid down so that way we have a nice consistency. And what we're looking for is, we're not looking for it to be gravy-like. We don't want it to be like gravy. With our roux that was in the pan, it's starting to thicken as well.
Right.
So it's doing it all for us. And we didn't have to create more roux, which is nice. If we had to create more roux, just take a little bit of flour and a little bit of our olive oil, mix it together, put a little in, and a roux half the size of this spoon right here would thicken that up in an instant.
Okay, good to know.
And if you've over thickened, you can always add liquid. So that's nice.
Okay. So the chicken stock is always our liquid to add if we need to
thin it out, absolutely. I cut our rice off because our co-host says that we're just about ready to go. So what we're going to do is we're going to let this steam up over here while the rest of our sauce is going, because we don't want to overcook it.
Yeah,
so if we cut it off now and allow it to just continue to do its thing while we're finishing. At this moment, let's take a look at our asparagus.
Oh, great idea.
Woo, I think we're there. See how we got nice crispy tips here? We want to make sure, I think we're there. El dente, nice crisp. We want asparagus to have a crunch when you bite it.
Yeah,
so we don't want it to be too mushy. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to pull it right now.
Perfect.
We're going to let it set on the side.
We need it covered, or we let it set?
We can let it set right there, because what we're going to do is we're just going to flash it back in the oven right before we plate out.
Great idea. We always like to eat everything hot.
Everything nice and hot. That's right. See how our sauce now is kind of glazing together.
Perfect.
It's making like a glaze. It's got a body to it.
Wonderful.
Right? So that way it's not like gravy. Typically when you add roux to liquid, it becomes a gravy. Yep. And if you add slurry, which would be cornstarch and water, then it becomes a sauce. So that's the difference between a gravy and a sauce.
Oh, great tip. Great to know.
Another tip when you're working with roux and with slurries is every time you slurry something, you want to add your slurry to your liquid. Okay? If you're working with roux, you want to add your liquid to your roux. Because if you add your roux to your liquid, you'll have little tiny roux balls and there'll be clumps in there, and you'll never have what you're looking for.
Certainly don't slurry your roux.
Correct.
Got it. For those of you at home who are not quite sure, we can have you get the information for our chef, and he can come do this for you at home.
I sure can. All right, now that we're going to want to turn your heat down. There we go. Nice low temperature. So now we're going to add our heavy cream. Like I said, we want to add a little bit and stir. So we're kind of cooling it down some. And then we're going to add a little bit and stir. So we're tempering our sauce. We don't want to pour it all in and it boil over and then it just becomes a mess. We don't want that. Or we don't want it to separate. So that way there's a butter.
You can definitely tell the difference when you do it that way. When you put it in gradually, it really makes a difference.
Yeah, now it combines very nicely.
Absolutely.
Let's add a little more. I think I want to add a little more chicken stock to this as well. See how nicely. This heavy cream also is a thickening agent. So like our roux and our cornstarch, those are thickening agents. So as you add this, you see that it's becoming thicker, right?
Absolutely.
So for our process, I think I want to add just a little bit of chicken stock, so that way it's a little bit thinner, because when we add our chicken back to it, this sauce is going to cook into that.
Oh,
so we want to be able to have it to be a little loose, because all we're going to do is just flash it in the oven for a few minutes just to finish our chicken off, and we'll be ready to go.
I hope everyone at home, their dish is looking just as good as ours. I like the consistency. It really makes a difference when you add the extra chicken stock.
Absolutely. Just thinned it out enough, just slightly. Then we're going to add our chickens back to the pan here. You can also, if you're going to be feeding multiple people like this, like our baking pan that we had, or a cookie sheet I would try to stay away from. Something that's got high walls like this. You'll be able to line your chicken breasts up in there and just dump the sauce over it. Bang, pop it right in the oven. Now we can feed 12 to 15 people in the same amount of time as we're feeding 4. So, another little trick there.
That's a great idea.
So now that we have this doing its thing, I want to pop this in the oven. Turn our heat off here. Careful. Don't do this at home. All right, and then this is going to go into the oven for about, depends on how long you cook your chicken for. Since we just barely seared it on each side, we probably cooked it maybe a 1/4 inch on both sides. So in the oven, maybe 8 minutes.
Okay.
So this will go pretty quickly. Do we have any other questions out there?
No other questions?
Nothing so far?
Nothing?
No, but we do have a comment that they love all of the tips and tricks that they have been learning, and I've let everybody know that we'll be sending them a recording they requested to share with their loved ones.
Oh, that's fantastic. We're
Absolutely.
so excited that you want to share it.
All right, now cleaning up is always important. I always like to clean while I work because I hate doing the dishes when I'm done.
Absolutely.
But just slowly doing little things always pays off. Okay, then, actually, while we're at it, let's take a look at our pie shop.
Oh,
I
let's do
think
that.
we
You
should.
thought I forgot about that.
I didn't think you forgot. I just was over here just to mention, check the pumpkin.
Tart.
Yes.
Oh, guys, you have no idea.
That looks amazing.
So let's see. See how firmer it's getting? Setting up nicely.
Hold on.
There you go.
I hear it.
No jiggle?
No jiggle.
jiggle.
All right, let's go.
That's that trick. Put it in the freezer. I love it.
No jiggle.
Quick set. So that's how it works. All right. Then our plating portion, if I may. Let's see. All right. Just working away on it.
So, Chef, we've had another question.
Yes.
Do you do Christmas parties?
Christmas parties. Depends on what you're thinking about doing. It all depends.
The question was, do you do Christmas parties of 10 to 20 people?
Absolutely. And when we do stuff like that, we really get to just take it over the top. And I'm willing to work with anybody. You guys give me an idea and a concept. We can bounce ideas back and forth off each other. I can give you a handful of menu ideas. We can go from there, whether it's starting with appetizers or doing a sit-down plated meal, doing a buffet style, however works best, really.
So I had someone else that asked a question because the Rider Elite team does a lot of events and stuff. And they said, would the Rider Elite team sponsor a private party with the chef at their house with, of course, with COVID, protection and all that, with 10 of their favorite friends?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. It'd be a good opportunity to sit around and enjoy each other's company while we have fun in the kitchen, essentially. One of my passions is playing with food. So being able to take something, like I said, wild rice, and you can add apricots.
Oh, I like that idea.
Yeah, so it just goes on and on and on and on and on. And then playing with people's taste buds. That's my fun. Is playing with the taste buds of everybody.
Like that.
Some will like it. Some may think they don't like it, and come to find out they do like it. They say that your taste buds change every 7 years.
Interesting.
You know, it's interesting you say that because I actually did floating in a pod. It was salt water. And I came out of that experience and my taste buds were just through the roof. Everything was different and tasted great. And it just seems like, you know, at the end of the day, your taste buds definitely change.
How crazy is it that sitting in soap and salt water detoxified all that to basically
kind of like brining a chicken?
Just like brining a chicken. Just like it.
So these are some tips if you want to learn how to brine your chicken. This chef knows how to teach you.
That's right.
All right, let's wrap this up and let everybody know how to finish this off for the gourmet meal. And my wife is going to make this meal for me tomorrow night.
Absolutely. Oh, that's looking great.
That's almost there. So, when we do plating, let's see, do you have a plastic measuring cup? One small. Anything. That's okay.
Nothing smaller.
Let's see. Let's go to our toolbox here and see what we can find.
Measuring cup? Did we use that?
It's just, I need it to be short. I don't want to use the. You could try this.
Let's see.
We'll try this.
We'll try that? Okay.
Let's zap our asparagus back in real quickly. Get a nice cook on it. Basically just to heat it up slightly. When we do plating, there's a couple things to think about when we plate. One, what kind of plate are we going to put it on?
Okay.
Right? What are we serving? How many colors are there? So number one is colors.
Okay.
Number two is shapes. Creating different shapes. When you go to these fine dining or these little bites, what do they call those? The tapas places with the little bites, right? They're always so fancy looking.
They look amazing. Yeah,
some places you go that there's 7 different garnishes, you know. So those are fun to work with. Making them simple and easy is always nice.
Right.
You know, taking a carrot and just running it on the cheese grater really quick. Color.
That's true.
Something that's edible, something that's color. Taking a tomato and just making a slice and slicing that in half so you have 2 moons and just laying it shingled up like that. Little parsley on it, so color and shapes. So taking those things
great ideas
into consideration when we do that. So this one we got chicken. That's going to be kind of oblong. We're going to have rice. There's not a whole lot of color to our rice. It's got the black in it, which is okay. So we'll try to make a shape with the rice. That's what we have our little vessel here with.
Oh, I see.
And then we have our green for asparagus. So how you plate it, you can Mickey Mouse it. You can starch, vegetable, protein. I like to layer mine. I like to make sure that the colors and the shapes are really appealing to the eye. So that way when you set that plate in front of your guest, their eyes, right? You eat with your eyes first.
Exactly.
So that's always a bonus part of that is really when you set it down and people go, I don't want to eat that. It looks so nice,
I know,
right?
I love it.
So that's always a fun compliment, so to speak.
And I think when we're at home, we forget about that.
Yeah, it's funny because I play with it all the time. So whatever I'm making, if I can do it really quick, I just do it. And then I make different ones so that when I'm in the shop or I'm doing events like this, that it just naturally comes right away so that way it can, boom, we need a garnish, and then it's immediately think about it. So you're not like, well, what are we gonna do? It's like, here, grab that and grab that, and here we go as a garnish.
Perfect.
Carrot, like I said, typically
I love
carrots
that
always
idea.
lying around, just really quick, boom, it goes a long way. So
Right. Absolutely. Never would have thought of that.
Let's-
Great tip.
let's take our asparagus out. Take our chicken in. Whoa, look at this.
You need another one.
I got you.
No. Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Don't do that at home.
Don't do that at
You
home.
need 2 hands for that.
Look at that. Nice and bubbly. It's looking good.
Wow, that looks amazing.
All right. So
I'm excited to learn how to plate it to make your dish at home look amazing.
Yeah, and then you invite your friends over. There's 4 or 5 people over, and you guys are just having fun. And next thing you know, it's typically get up and serve yourself, right? But when they're sitting down at the table and enjoying themselves, and you come, here you go, and they don't even know what to do. So that's always the fun. So what we'll do is we'll take our rice. Rice is pretty starchy, so it sticks together pretty well. So we'll take it in a little vessel like such. We're going to push it down. Now this may work or it may not work. Typically we just slam it on there, but since we can't do that, we'll fake it. Where's our? So you want to think about portion size.
Right.
You don't want to overfill anybody. So we got a pretty good sized chicken. It's about 3 ounces of rice, 4 ounces maybe. That's it. It's probably really good. So let's take, what do you think? 6 asparagus?
That's what I'm thinking.
Six asparagus looks pretty good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe we'll make it 7 because I think it'll look nice. And we'll just lay our asparagus right on top like such.
Oh, now see, that's already looking amazing. That's
Right.
not how I would have done it. So I love learning.
And then we'll take our nice little chicken. And we don't want to lay it exactly right on the top, but just off to the side slightly. So that way you don't get it all. You don't want to smush it all. But what you do want is you want to be able to kind of taste everything else while not over complicating it, while not overpowering anything else. So then we'll take our lovely marsala sauce here. Make sure we get enough mushroom and just right on top, just like that.
That is spectacular.
So to really, well, now we're going to elevate it. Right?
Okay,
So just
let's go.
just like this, it looks good, smells delicious. We could take fresh rosemary
Wow.
and just take a sprig.
And the aroma of that
Mm-hmm.
smells fantastic.
And stick it in. And now you have your 5-star meal.
Fantastic.
You like that?
What a great tip.
I'll show you another one while we're at it since we got it here.
Absolutely.
We'll move this. This one. You really want to wow your guests.
Okay.
This
Let's
is
do
how
it.
you do it. So take your asparagus. And just get this going. And then you stick it in. So that way, when you set this
Oh,
down right in front of you,
That's
and you
amazing.
have that rosemary just roasting on there for you.
That is amazing. Okay, never would have thought of that. So I really appreciate you showing us that
Very-
tip.
Christmassy, right?
Absolutely. This is fantastic. A little smoky. That's great. Great tip.
All right.
So should we just pull out the tart and cut it?
Yes.
For our
If
viewers?
we're ready, if You guys are all ready. Let's go ahead and do it. We have some nice chilled plates here.
Now we're going to show you just pulling out your tart. So after you eat dinner, how you're going to put your tart on the plate and cut your tart.
Nice. Now, a trick with this one is your hot water.
Oh, good to know.
Because what will help you is that hot water. All we're going to do is just get it on there.
Another trick that we wouldn't have thought about to cut it. Oh, and how smooth.
Right. So that way it doesn't stick to your blade and pull it and make a big giant mess. How big of a piece? That's good.
Yeah, that looks great. Oh, and look at that consistency. That looks amazing.
So what you could do there is just take your little bit of, where's our cinnamon action?
Steve, you put that away?
Just take your little cinnamon and just lightly dust your plate. Just like such.
Wow. Maybe we should start with dessert, but no, we have to eat that chicken first. That looks amazing. Well, Steve, come on over here. We want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. If you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out to the Rider Elite team. But thank you for having dinner with us and enjoy your dish with your families tonight.
We appreciate you guys, and we always are here to take care of you. If you want to buy, sell, or invest, we're here to help you build your wealth through real estate. Thank you, Chef.
And Chef,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much. We've
Bye,
got so many great ideas.
Facebook world. We love